You will reach your destination in 2,407 kilometers. You have reached your destination, KameraStore, aka the camera heaven of film photography.
Hello and welcome to Tampere in Finland, which is a place you might not have heard of before, but I promise that it will change after this video, because hidden in this building in the 7th floor is KameraStore. And as the name suggests, it is a camera store, actually one of the biggest camera stores for analog equipment out there, but it is much more than that, because they do not only sell and buy cameras, but they also inspect and repair cameras. So basically this is a big photography playground for all the nerds, and I'm fortunate enough to get a tour and check it out. I also heard that they have some pretty rare and collectible items there, and today I'm on a mission to find a camera that I can bring with me on a road trip through Finland later this week. So I'm very, very excited, so without any further ado, let's check it out.
Welcome.
Hello Nico,
Come in.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to KameraStore. This is our very not pretty entrance. We are more of a factory than a store. So let's go and show you all about KameraStore and what we do here.
So basically we will learn about the entire journey a camera goes through in this quote-unquote camera factory, in which hundreds and thousands of cameras arrive and leave again on a daily basis. We will take a look at the inbound, where the cameras arrive, the cleaning and checking stations, which is a bit like going to the camera doctor, the repair department, the camera graveyard aka spare parts, check out the kiosk and get some film from a vending machine, and of course take a look at all the fun and funky cameras we can get our hands on.
But that's a beast.
That's a beast,
Yeah.
for sure.
And quick heads up before we start the tour, KameraStore has hooked me up with a little discount code for you, so in case you're interested in anything from their store, you can get 5% off your purchase by using the link in the description box. So now grab a coffee and let's start the tour.
So here we receive everything. Anything that comes to KameraStore, be it a pallet, a box, a trolley, bubble wrap, anything comes in here. This is where we sort everything, the good from the bad, and we take it to the different stages. Aki, have you met Karin?
Hi,
Aki is inbound master.
Karin, nice to meet you.
to Finland.
So most of our customers ship their quotes in packages. So we get trolleys on the daily basis. We open them. We look for the customer information and tie the item. And the most important part in inbound is making sure the item is the correct item. A lot of people ship us Canon 5D, but it's Mark II, or the AE1, but it's the program. So here is the first stage where we make sure what you have said that you're selling to us is correct. And this then will follow the whole process. It can be modified after, but this is important to make sure here. As you see, we get shipped stuff in all kinds of things. We have an old ventilator. We get all kinds of things like diaper boxes, cigarette boxes, old towels, packing.
So if you ship something to KameraStore, be sure to be creative with your packages, because you keep track of the best packages that
Yes,
arrive.
we do share what we get sometimes within the company.
What is the craziest packaging material you've seen?
What is it? Is it like a sock or a scarf?
So when everything has been already organized, we have the name of the quote, no customer info for privacy problems, and then the location is being gathered. We do have some pop-ups in different places, or kiosks. We have one in Espoo, which is next to Helsinki, one locally here in Tampere, and now we're opening one in Sweden. So people can come in person, drop off their stuff, and we can register it properly there in front of the customer. So one of the things that people find very interesting, you were asking, Karin, is do we rescue camera stores? So sometimes here in Finland we get notified like some shop has closed and maybe there's a bankruptcy estate like you can purchase, and we make offers sometimes. So we have purchased, for example, a store that closed in Helsinki, and we got all kinds of studio equipment. This is the stuff that is on the verge of not listable because of the weight, or the demand is not that high. So if you ever see in our shop new items that look like new old stock, it's from this kind of situation. But then we get stuff like this. For example, here you can see Sometimes we get donated or buy a Hasselblad looking box.
Wow.
And I think this is actually not officially Hasselblad. This would look amazing in somebody's house, especially a camera geek.
Nobody knows what's in there. It's like, do you know this like cookies box that everybody has, but there's not cookies in there, but like
Yes.
sewing equipment. It could be wine in there, it could be film in there, nobody
Yeah.
knows. I love these, by the way.
One big thing that a lot of people don't see from when you buy secondhand gear is the amount of things you buy that are just not profitable or possible to recycle. Like recycle into the market, not recycle in recycling. We keep a lot of spares and repairs, which you will see, but this is the stuff that we have been like already kind of like taken out all parts. Like right now we have a person taking out of the bodies, focusing screens, removing battery doors, and then the rest we call, you know, to recycle. But yeah. I don't think there's too much left. This is very confusing.
I've been here like 3 times by now already, and I'm still getting...
But like people have been working here for like 6 months, and sometimes they're like, well, there was a wrong way. So technicians start here. Technicians are the people we consider test the gear. They're not mechanics. Their job is to identify and find what could be an issue within a piece of photography equipment. Body, lenses, accessories, chargers, batteries, anything they'll check and they'll do properly. They have the different stations, they have testing bodies, they have the testing equipment that's over here.
So basically this is just like diagnostics, they see what's wrong,
Exactly.
but they don't
It's like your car diagnostics.
Yeah, yeah.
It kind of like you take your car to the annual checkup, they say like, hey, your wheel alignment is incorrect, you need to take it to a mechanic. We are not doing the mechanic work here.
Yeah, yeah.
All they do is they clean, like they check, and they leave a commentary on what they find. Customer will get that information when we make the final offer.
So diagnostics is so important because you need to know what's wrong in order to get it fixed. So I feel like this is like an essential step to see if it's worth going further or not, right?
Yep, yep. And one thing that people don't know, for example, when you're selling a body, you might sell, let's say, the classic cameras of Olympus OM1 with a 50mm. You send it to us, we test it here with your lens in your body. We might find the body's underexposing 2 stops. But it could be the lens that is just oily and is not stopping down like it should. That's why we have our own set of lenses that are calibrated by us and make sure that they're working accordingly. We have a little T for testing because every now and then someone misplaces it and then we're like, what is this lens? So that's the lenses. Down we have the test bodies. And then these are used in the testing equipment to measure shutter speeds, like aperture on lenses. We check the light meter. You need, for example, your little DX codes to kind of hack it, but you put this on point and shoots and it will, you know, trigger the machine the right way. Because a lot of point and shoots, people don't know that without a roll, they'll default to ISO 50 instead of ISO 100. So you could be checking it and check it wrong. We have the different EVs here. We have the Copo shutter, kind of central shutter one. This one's a very simple one. It just kind of cuts light and it does the difference. So this one's for roll reflexes, leaf shutters, all of that, like Hasselblad lenses, Compor, Colpal, Prontor shutters are done here. We have a big collimator. You can see dimensions, big. This is really useful for making sure lenses focus at infinity. But this one also has a very big pupil, meaning you can fit a rangefinder. So it can fake a rangefinder infinity. They even have a little step so you can get with a waist level finder to see it properly.
Later, I also got the chance to chat with some people from the checking department and check my 2 cameras I brought with me on this trip to see if they actually work correctly or not. So definitely stay tuned for that.
Once quotes are checked, they come here. Here is a little bit of a different place of the company where the stuff gets waiting for the final offer. We make a pre-offer when you try to do it online, so you get an estimate of what we think the price will be. But when we have checked it with all the commentary, we send you a final definitive offer. We do an offer in cash or trade-in. Trade-in gets a little bit more because you purchase from our store. It's like store credit. And if you decide to decline, then it also gets shipped to you. For example, these with the red dot are declined. This will be shipped back to customer because he decided our offer wasn't what he expected and he can get it back. And if you accept, then it is ours and we process it following the steps that go after. So this is where it comes over here. So this is what we call the stickering stage. So once the quote is ours, like the ones that we have over there, they grab the items, they grab the system, they find the quote, and they find what stage that should go to. So like I said earlier, they've decided needs listing, needs cleaning, needs this. Here we use these stickers. So these stickers are unique to each item, and it kind of holds the metadata of the item. Who did we buy it from? How much did we pay? Who cleaned it? Who checked it? What date? Everything.
It's like a fingerprint, actually.
Kind of.
So basically, you should know, like if everything goes right, where each item that ever entered KameraStore is at this moment.
Yes, that's the main goal.
But obviously not all items can be listed straight away, but especially older film cameras oftentimes need to be repaired. So next we're taking a look at everything regarding repairs and spare parts.
So where are we now?
So this is the repair queue. Everything that is shipped to us or sold to us or we buy from people that we deem repairable in one way or another or savable for now comes here. When people often in the film community are like, hey, do you service Hasselblads? Do you service like us? We need my broken this, my broken that. We would love to, but we have over 7,000 items here that we have purchased. We have put the money onto something that's on the shelf waiting for a mechanic to have time to service. So that's the reason we say no. We would love to do it, but this is here waiting for us to put new life into it. A lot of it is CLA, but we still try to service, especially the professional equipment, Mamiya, Hasselblad, Leica, large format lenses, large format bodies we service because the goal is that it was meant to be serviced. So you name Mamiya and you go RB. Okay, so you want an RB Pro S that needs a CLA. You have a body here. So when the store runs out of some products, then we put some into the preference. So yesterday I was checking, we have no 500 CMs ready. So now online I can check from our system that we have none. I can give a mechanic 5, they do 5 systems and then they move on to the next thing. Each mechanic has a unique know-how that is tied on our system with the product. But this is the vault that everybody loves to see. Canon A1s, A1 Classic, 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 Program, AT1, AV1, OM1s, XA2, 3, 4, OM2s.
I mean, just look at this sheer amount. It's hard to see, but look at how many bodies are in here.
U2s in boxes.
In boxes, wow.
I mean, we don't try to keep boxes usually because they're kind of annoying for logistics reasons, but we'll keep them for a little while. In the Cinar and Toyos here, you have the official carry, like the flight cases. This will pay a little bit more because it has the case, so when I sell it, I can ship it within the case. I obviously pack it and bubble wrap it. Leicas, we do keep some because people from Leica world, they're a little different and they like things a little differently. But we have like an XPAN lens, so we might keep that. This is a 90mm that's just loose in there, so it doesn't have the bubble, famous plastic bubble. So we keep some stuff, but it really makes it, even storing, as you can not see, it's just complicated.
Yeah.
Not everything that's here, we have a mechanic that knows how to repair it. But that is kind of the roadmap, is to slowly, hopefully train people, pick up people that know. But Leica R is different than Leica M, so we go with what we can.
I'm very interested to learn more about the whole repair part and the whole, how you train mechanics, but we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah, this is all the repair queue. Like I said, over 7,000 items currently. So this is where the mechanics mostly work. Mechanics are the ones that are not working with customers' items. Those are items that we purchased already, diagnosed that they need repair or service, and they come here. We have different bins from different mechanics, depending on, like I said, the queue that we need. So Tony, for example, has been doing Hasselblads for years, so he's got the Hasselblad kits here in pieces, and then he will service them, put them all together, put them on the website. Mechanics work doesn't happen on the constraint based on customers. It is things we purchased, they service. If it's not serviceable, even after opening, then it goes to spares or somewhere else.
Do you train the mechanics in-house, right?
Well, Yashica was the first mechanic that was here. It's on the other side of the wall. And then Tony, I think, Tony, you were next in the queue after Yashica with Ari. Ari was already here, but yeah, they've been trained in-house by a mix of Yashica and self-training and self-exploration. Like Ari probably has spent half his life looking into the insides of cameras to see how they work or if they don't work. So it's a lot of that, but the principles of a lot of cameras are quite similar within. They do couple shutters and Prontor shutters and synchro compor shutters. They're common in brands, so like Hasselblad use synchro compor, but also Rolleiflex and other models. So if you can service that shutter, you can service multiple cameras.
like the skill of repairing cameras is something that dies out, right? So it's nice to have a place where actually people learn these skills and get trained in it.
I mean, that's the problem for everybody. Maybe you don't have spares, maybe you can't swap parts. So they have to kind of all the time have a little bit of inventive of how to get the problem solved and how to get them back to as close to working order as possible. So it's not like you can't just sit down, read the manual and get the hang of it.
Yes, yes, makes
So
sense.
that's how they go. So this is the spare part / changing room. The problem with spare parts is the cameras only break in very specific places. So when you see a space, it probably means the place where there was nothing, like the part that broke all the time. And then another thing that happens a lot is, for example, when there's anything that's a circuit, it might be bad as the camera is. These things don't age gracefully. We keep these here. We need parts very, very rarely, but it looks really cool on camera.
It does.
And we don't say no to parts, obviously.
And do you do some like 3D printing of some parts that maybe might be 3D printable? Because I saw some like plastic wheels in there, for example.
Plastic wheels, no. We don't do 3D printed plastic wheels because tolerances are not there, and sometimes one bad part can break other parts. Because every time there's a mechanism, there's kind of like a sacrificial part and a strong part. One has to be softer than the other, because there's two hard parts, you might break both.
Yeah, it makes so much sense because it's not only the form, but also kind of the density and everything of the material that has to match in order to get the whole thing.
A lot of parts were made out of brass because brass is a very nice material where it's hard but also soft. So you might have stainless steel versus brass, and then stainless steel will not wear at all almost, and the brass will. So then you change the brass part, put a new brass part. But if you go, oh, I'm gonna outsmart Mamiya, I'm gonna put another stainless steel part, then stainless steel, that's gonna create an issue because it's gonna maybe break something that's more important. We have Hasselblad spare parts. These are slightly more organized because we do service for Hasselblad properly. So this is organized by our mechanics. I probably get in trouble by just opening them. Here's a little bit of a museum of things for camera testers, shutter testers, collimators, you name it, we probably have it. Manuals, or someone has printed them and we've inherited them. The problem with these, and this is one thing that a lot of people think you need, is they were made for the era you could swap parts, but we don't have those parts. So that's why we go to the next stage of our little cave. The next stage is what we call the donor bodies. We mark them as spare parts on our process, but they are technically donor bodies. This is the car junkyard, but for cameras. These are the ones we've figured out are beyond repairs. They've either tried to be repaired by someone else, they've been stripped too bad where it is actually just better for parts than for the whole body. We save them here, and here we Frankenstein parts out of them. Just like I said, the manuals are like, remove spring 63 and put a new one. Well, maybe there's no new spring, so we come here and find a spring that still has the right like strength. But yeah, you have Rolleiflex. But when you get to Rolleiflex spare parts, some have already donated quite a lot of their weight. Focusing screen, the whole assembly.
Honestly, I know it's not the reason to look pretty, but I think just seeing like a half-open camera is so interesting to see like the interior and the inner kind of organs of a camera and get this insight.
And a lot of people don't understand how complex it would be to make most of this stuff. But this is the focusing mechanism, you can see it here. It's a double cam kind of system. It has like an ear, and there it focuses there. And the old grease is there. You can literally hear the grease. But this is one of the ways that a lot of new mechanics can't really do much is because they need these spare parts. So it's really hard to find them. And you have to have just a long history of purchasing broken cameras and storing them for a long time and a good system to organize how many you have, what is the stage of that. But yeah, that's the spare part area. So when things come to be ready to be listed, they can come from cleaning, repairing, or just someone sold it to us that was ready to be listed. It comes to the listing queue. Everything that is sold has been checked to the point that we can tell you what is the situation with it. There's no surprises. That's the whole point of it. The one important thing compared to a lot of other places is we don't do the condition based on aesthetics. So it's not a condition rating. It's like a user rating, like a mechanical rating.
This is kind of the most important thing. You want to keep cameras alive. You want to keep cameras being used. So in the end, if it has a scratch or not, doesn't really matter, as long as you can still use it, right?
Yeah, we're selling to users most times.
Yeah.
So they do take into consideration if there is a scratch, they will lower the price. Sometimes they're not passed and they're unused because we haven't been able to test them, like Super 8 cameras, some stuff, but we mentioned precisely not tested.
Yes.
And we also price it accordingly, really low, so someone maybe gets a bargain. That's the goal.
So basically here is everything that's in the store right now.
Yeah, 99.9% of stuff is here. Here you could have a Hasselblad, a Leica, and a Rolleiflex, and then you could have a Pentax, a plow bell, and an accessory from Canon. We just list them in a linear way. It does sell fast. So within the first week, most stuff goes because there's a lot more out there we want to be able to buy, service, put back in the market. I think that's pretty much all I can think of.
The rest of the items that are not hidden in these boxes can probably be found in one of the local kiosks. Two of us took over the tour from here to also show me the little kiosk in Tampere. Here you can buy the cameras that are on display, stock up on some film, and also bring in the cameras you might like to sell to drop them off in person.
Well, yeah, this is our kiosk. You can get your film from us and you can do kind of like quick refills and whatnot. And then we have some cameras here in stock. We try to keep quite a limited inventory and kind of like just specialized inventory based on the kiosk and what we sell there the most and whatnot. So we try to offer quite various skill levels, just kind of your most standard 35 cameras. Then the Mamias and Blaubels are kind of like showpieces almost there. So, yeah. But yeah, that's it about the kiosks.
So we're going to take a look at some of these boxes to just see what KameraStore has in stock right now, and potentially maybe, I don't know, also find something that I can bring on a road trip in a couple of days. So I heard that the orange boxes used to be expensive, so probably the good stuff is in here. 60mm anamorphic lens. Wow. As a kid, I used to buy these like mystery toy boxes where you bought like an enclosed thing and you didn't know what kind of toys are in here. And this feels a little bit like that, to just like grab a box and see what's in there and you have no idea what you will encounter. Like there's everything in here.
There is quite a lot because there's like 14,000 items roughly.
Wow. Is this like a dad cam? But
I think
like...
that's like a dad cam with a massive lens.
Wow. 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 But I mean, it's so cool, from like this exotic digital stuff to large format to 35, everything, right? Oh, look what we found here, hidden in one of these boxes.
Yeah, I think we have 3 titanium versions with the lenses at the moment listed.
So I expected this place to be big, but not that big. There's something new to discover in every corner, actually. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 champagne, Olympus Muse, another black one. Did I open this one, or is there just another one?
Just another one.
Another one.
Another one, yeah.
I don't even know how to hold it. What is this?
Like a gun.
Yes. It even moves. It really feels like a gun. What? Novoflex 40cm f5.6, no flexor, not defined. Not defined. So I guess you can probably shoot something with that. It's so fun to just see like the sheer amount of different things. Mamiya 645. Oh my god, look at that. That is insane.
So if you want to burn through film, that's...
How much is it? 3 shots or 4?
I think
maybe? Here it says 4
Okay.
exposures.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's a beast.
That's a beast,
Yeah.
for sure. Even have like some digital equipment, so if you wanna black magic, you can also find it here. And oh, this is a fun box. I think I found the treasure box here. A 501 cm. Okay, I will do nothing because I don't want to break anything. I just look at it, admire how pretty it is, and put it back.
One of my favorite things to stumble upon were these glass camera replicas though. I'm not even sure if they're actually up for sale, but this is the stuff that makes my nerdy heart go crazy. But let's not get distracted, since our mission is to find a real camera that can actually shoot, that I can loan for my upcoming road trip.
We found the camera that I will take on a trip with me later this week, because on this trip I brought my Hasselblad XPAN, and some of you might know this camera because it's a legendary camera that lets you shoot panoramic images on 35mm film. And one type of camera I haven't used before is another type of panoramic camera that works in a different way. This here, which is the Horizon 202, and this is a swinging lens panoramic camera, so it works like that. And I've never used a camera like that, and I would just be very interested to see how it holds up to the XPAN. So if you don't want to miss the video where I shoot this one and maybe compare it to the XPAN, definitely stay tuned, because this will be up after this video here. Sorted.
I think we found some pretty rare but also weird cameras. But what do people say who've worked here for a while about the coolest cameras they've stumbled upon?
I mean, every week something different that's strange. We get black paint like us every now and then. People find those
But
because they're...
DIY black paint or real black paint?
We've gotten a little bit of everything. We've gotten DIY gold Olympuses. We had an Olympus OM1 gold that doesn't exist, so we were like, that's really rare. But the guy had a lot of other gold items, so we're like, maybe they made a couple. Ended up being like very badly gold plated, but we still bought them, and we'll service them and sell them as normal, but with gold finish. Sometimes even prototypes of some cameras come in because we're close to Russia. Sometimes some feds are strange and obscure, but point and shoot sometimes come in weird. There's a Mu 2 that's silver, not champagne. That's really rare. I've almost never seen that, so I've seen one of those. But things like that come in and surprise us every time.
The ones we are looking for is basically like the weirdest stuff, because you do there with like our team checks like up to 1,500 like items a week, with like 1,500 a week.
That's
with the
insane.
record at 2,000.
Wow.
So yeah, with that amount you kind of get used to, like, you know, so it's like if it's like Leica M3, nobody
cares,
nobody
because
cares.
yeah,
It's like, you know, and but then when you see something like, you know, this like Darth Vader Konica, like that's fun, or like Polaroid that makes funny sounds,
Yeah.
like something like that, and that's like
These are the
everybody get
gems
excited.
then.
So I guess, yeah, it's like the more strange it is, and like the more you never seen it and it has some kind of fun features, then that gets people excited.
So I talked to some of the folks at KameraStore, and they say that they feel immune to gear acquisition syndrome because they see so much stuff all day. I can't say that I'm there yet, because for me it just feels like a flare-up in gear I would like to try and shoot. What happened to this one?
That's actually got hit by I think it was like a truck driver. Like it fell from the box fell from the pallet, and then the truck driver just ran over it. But it is actually kind of like, we haven't tested it, but it is usable in a way. It hasn't really affected that much, but of course we cannot sell it though. But yeah, it's always like conversation starter.
As I told you, I also brought some of my own cameras on this trip with me, so before hitting the road it would actually be great to see if my cameras work as they should. And luckily Roman, the head of the checking department, and his colleague Jonas were kind enough to take a closer look at my Hasselblad XPAN and Yashica T4.
And what do they exactly mean? So what is like the ABC?
That's exposure in the, where it's going up, so it's like exposure like in the beginning of the frame, in the middle of the frame, and in the end of the frame.
And it should be all the same, so you know that it's like an even exposure,
Yep,
right?
and it also gives you like the idea that curtains are running like smoothly, so like speed of one curtain is like same as the other one.
What is like a tolerance? So when should I worry if there's like a what type of numbers?
Well, that depends. I mean, technically, the negative film has like quite a latitude. So, like as a customer, like for your photos, then you don't need to worry much, like at all. But since most of the shutters and mechanism are very old, it's like it's damaging the shutter every time you shoot it if it's like not going correctly. Our tolerances are about like 30%. So if it's more than 30% out, like something is not going good there.
I see. So here goes my Yashica. I know it has some issues. Sometimes the lens is not opening up correctly. So I am prepared for the worst. Just hit me with the true reality of things. I can handle it. So what is that thing that you put on there right now? What does it do?
I mean, it's, I guess this is like a 5-point sensor. Basically, it measures light depending on the direction of the shutter since. Go and let's roll the dice and boom. Let's turn off the flash.
Okay, that doesn't sound good.
Oh, the numbers are looking absolutely fine. Like, these numbers are like straight from the factory. Okay, that's it.
It said like plus some EV, so it's overexposing, or?
It's like, how do you say, like it's within the factory tolerance that it's like 0.2 stops over or 0.2 EVs, but everything within like 1 to 1.5
Is fine.
stops is absolutely fine.
That's a relief. It feels like going to the doctor and not knowing what diagnosis he's going to get you, and it's
absolutely
healthy. Yay!
Yeah. You told me that the lens doesn't like.
It just stays in. It doesn't retract at all.
So this opens, but it won't move.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I see.
Not often, but sometimes. So you also always kind of change the battery to have like a fresh battery, so you know that it's not an issue with the battery.
So if the voltage is down, it will affect the exposure one way or the other, like
Makes
either
sense.
over or under. Usually it's under. How old is this?
Oh, old. I don't know if I ever changed the battery on this one.
Okay.
So
Oh, it's a bit dead.
it's a bit dead.
Yeah, it's around 70%. Probably use it still for some time, but I wouldn't like on the long run. Let's have a look. Let's get the trash out of the way. I'm gonna do just the standard procedure, like if I were checking this. I'm just gonna.
Oh, so you're like really using a toothbrush, so that's something I could do at home technically.
Yes. Oh, you're missing the pin thing that holds the...
Yes, it broke down just a couple of weeks ago.
Just gonna give it some contact cleaner.
Yeah, the lens is messy, I think.
Yes. I mean, if you like the greedy look, then
So
I'm not judging.
free Pro Mist filter on there.
Just gonna give it another wipe, basically, just to be sure.
Do you have to be like cautious when it comes to the coating of lenses? So are there like some lenses where you cannot use alcohol, for example, or?
Well, yeah. Basically, the chemicals we use, you kind of like have to know what to use and where. It comes with like experience. You have to kind of like know what you're doing. Just don't like get sanding paper and like, you know.
Rookie mistake number one, using sanding paper for cleaning.
There's some dust. Let's have a little look-see-look. Don't blind yourself with the light.
Okay.
Well, you know, flashlights are right.
It looks greasy. It looks very nasty, the viewfinder, actually.
Yeah, you don't want to know what's in there. But it's mostly dust.
All right, thank you
Damn.
very, very much for your time. I appreciate it. Now I have a pretty cleaned up, pristine camera. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now that I know KameraStore inside out, got myself a fun camera from the store as a loan, got my personal cameras checked, there isn't much in the way of taking some photos in Finland. But one thing I will of course need, and that is some film. And what better way to get film than at a film vending machine?
So that's probably the first time I'm gonna get some film from the vending machine. Very excited about it. So you just select the film you want to have it in this row, and then I probably have to tap in my card. Everybody write down my credit card number, so and take product out. So here we are, film from a vending machine, and it is cold. In fact, you can feel it. The machine was just doing some noises earlier, so it is cooling the film, which is pretty fun. So if you are in the area and you don't want to go up to the 7th floor, or maybe if the kiosk upstairs is closed, just hop on here, get some film, and you're ready to shoot. There, the noises. So that's pretty much it for today. This was the whole tour of KameraStore, where we got to know the whole path a camera takes from the arrival here at the store to the point where it's being sold, which was incredibly interesting. So once again, thank you to the whole KameraStore team for showing me around, for giving me the store, and of course, thank you for watching. So in case you are interested in buying but also selling cameras, you should definitely make sure to check out KameraStore online. And now that we found our little companion for our road trip, I would say definitely stay tuned and see you in the next episode.
Thanks for watching. You might be at the end of this video, but this does not have to be the end of your destination. Make sure to check out Karin Majoka's channel, maybe like and subscribe, and definitely tune in for the next episode where we take these cameras on a road trip to a fun destination outside of Tampere.
So look like and how distorted they are if you point it upwards.